So my name is Deep. I'm currently a sophomore studying computer science and economics. And yeah, thank you everyone for coming to this hacker hour. This is actually my first hacker hour, and I'm very excited and a bit nervous as well. And I hope everyone's doing well. Everyone's midterms are going well, but because my discrete structures one midterm didn't go as expected, but I hope you all are crushing your midterms. And today's hacker hour is basics of Chrome developer tools. I'll be covering some basic functions of Chrome developer tools and how can it make your life easier, especially if you are into web development. And yeah, please pardon me for my bad slides. I'm not very at picking themes for slides. So obviously the first question is these developer tools. So these developer tools are tools that enable web developers to collect vital information installed on applications, including the project that you're building. As I was saying, these developer tools are available on almost all major browsers, including Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. All right, but okay, so why are we talking about Chrome developer tools? Well, it's just a matter of preference, nothing special. All are same, all the developer tools are same from all the browsers. There's nothing special about Chrome developer tools, really. No. So why developer tools? Because one, the set of extensive features that Chrome developer tools offer is much, much larger than any other browser's developer tools, including Firefox, and I don't know much about Safari because I don't use it. And second is the choice of most professional love using Chrome dev tools for debugging their applications. So that's why you should also choose Chrome DevTools as your first choice. All right, next slide. So where are these developer tools? Are they hidden in an old secret box? Like no one knows where this box is and they're hidden there? No, they are not. Again, just kidding. If you don't like my jokes, please pardon me. Such my sense of humor acting up. So there are three ways to access them basically. One is you open a new web page in Chrome and you click Control-Shift-I, and there will a little pop-up window at the bottom of your screen, and they are the web developer tools. Second way is you control right-click anywhere on the page, any element, any image, any text, any line, and select inspect. It will be either inspect or inspect elements, and it will be last or second to last choice in the pop-up. So you select that and you will see the Chrome DevTools. And the third way to access them is go to the top right corner on over here and click these three vertical dots, and yeah, click on those three dots, click on more tools, and click on developer tools. That's how you get access to these Chrome DevTools. Next slide. It should look like this. I'm not sure if you're able to see this clearly, but yeah, this is the little pop-up that you see, and it depends. The size of this depends based on your computer. And it has 9 tabs in total. And by default, you see the Elements tab. So the 9 tabs are Elements, Console, Sources, Network, Performance, Memory, Applications, Security, and Lighthouse. And I think Lighthouse is the recent one they added in the recent update because it wasn't there before. So yeah, these are the 9 tabs, and by default, you see Elements tab, and it might vary based on your browser's preferences, your Chrome preferences. So the first use is we can use Chrome DevTools to debug our HTML and CSS code. So when it comes to laying the foundation of your web app. It's a really good practice to test your code by opening your HTML file in the browser, preferably the browser, so you can use the Chrome DevTools, and checking it out yourself, right? So how do you open your HTML file in the project in the browser, Chrome browser? You open a new tab in Chrome and hit Control O. And you will see a pop-up that and will let you select your project file, and yeah, that will open your HTML file. And for Mac users, I think is Commando. Yeah, I forget to mention that here. So Mac users can hit Commando and open their HTML file and see it for themselves. And you can, once your file is up, you can see if it's doing what you expected. And if something is, if something is wrong, if something seems off, you can just start Chrome Developer Tools and start investigating where your HTML and CSS is going wrong. So how do you do that? How do you investigate it? How do you check where your HTML and CSS is going wrong? So as I mentioned about, you open your DevTools, and by default, you see the Elements tab. So the Elements tab contains a real-time interactive DOM tree. DOM is short for Document Object Model. It contains a real-time interactive DOM tree of your whole HTML code. It's literally whole DOM tree. It's literally the tree that your browser's JavaScript engine parses and displays it on your web page. So you can play around with it, change anything in the DOM, select any HTML element, switch any two HTML elements, and you will see the results live in the browser, in the Chrome browser on your web page. You can see them live, changing instantly. So that's really helpful. But you have to be sure that any change you do, you save it in your actual source code. This is only temporary. All the changes you do are temporary. They don't get stored directly in your source code. So you change something, you like it, and you want to store it. So how you store it? You have to copy paste the change in your source files, your HTML file. Because if you don't, and you close the DevTools and refresh the web page, or close it and open it again, those changes will be gone. You will have to do everything again. Those changes will just disappear. So make sure to save them before you hit refresh or close the tab. And for CSS part, so the CSS code you wrote will be available in the right side of the DevTools under Styles. So basically in the Elements tab, on the right side, you will see a little window called Styles. And just like HTML, you can change any CSS property and also see the changes you do live in the browser on the web page of your project. So you can select any element from your DOM tree on the left-hand side. You can select that and you will see all the properties related with that particular HTML element on the right side under styles. So you can change any of them. You can edit any property. You can add margin. You can remove padding. You can see how it all changes. And if you like, again, these are temporary, all the CSS changes you do. So they also don't get stored directly in your source file CSS. So you have to make sure you copy paste them in your actual source code before you hit refresh or close the tab, or otherwise they will be gone. Just a minute. Okay, it's loading. Okay, do you guys see this screen, the weather app?
Yep.
You guys don't, or you do?
Oh, we see it.
Okay. So this is just a little weather app that I made over the summer that basically you enter your city name here and it fetches the weather info, like location and humidity and rain chances and temperature, overall temperature, all that from an API. So I'm just using this to show you like a live demo. So I will hit Control Shift I, and oops, this is so big. Okay, this is the Elements tab, and as you can see on the left here, I see all the whole DOM tree. Do you guys see this, right? Or you don't?
Affirmative.
Okay, thank you. So on the left side here, as you can see, we see the whole DOM tree. And as I hover over each element, I see the element itself in the web page. So like the body is the whole web page, and the first div is the first part, this image and all the text on it. And also on the right here, as you can see, this is the styles. And I see body tag styling. I see the global style rule. Yeah, and also some user agent styles. So some default styling that Chrome adds for you. So now here on the left, I select first div element, and you can see the styles here change. Now I see the styling of this particular div element. So the container class that I've added to this div element, I see the stylings for that element, that class, and here I can, yeah, so I uncheck this and the image is gone. So I can also do that. And background size, cover, I can remove that, I can add that. Background bottom, I can add that, I can remove that. So I can basically play around with it. I can also add something like, say, text color. Text align, center, or something like that, right? And yeah, I can see that change live in the browser. So that's all you can do with the styles tab. And let me go back to my slides. Okay. So next is let's play hide and seek with the HTML elements. So Chrome DevTools also offer a function, also offer a feature that lets you hide a particular HTML element in your DOM tree. So the way you do it is you open DevTools, you go to Elements tab, you see your whole DOM tree, you see all the HTML elements, and you select a particular HTML element and you hit H. So it just disappears from this screen. Yeah, it's as simple as that. That's how you hide a particular HTML element from your web page. And if you hit H again, it will become visible again. Let me go back to the weather app again and show you guys how it is. It takes time to load. Hmm. Come on, Chrome. Okay, finally it's here. And you guys see this, my weather app again, right?
Yep. We're good.
All right, yeah. So let's say I selected this HTML element and I hit H and it's gone. So it will stay there, but I won't be able to see anything. I won't be able to see the contents. And so how does the Chrome do this? How does it work? So how does the Chrome DevTools, like simply hitting H on the keyboard, hide and unhide an element? And it can be like your whole body element itself, like, or even a particular like small element, like an image, small image, or a particular p tag. You can hide anything. So how does it work? So that's no rocket science behind it. It's so simple. You can also do it yourself. So when you click H on an element, Chrome adds a new class to that element. And if you check the CSS styling of that class under the styles window, you will see that they have added a styling, visibility, hidden, important. And I think we all know what that means. The important part there, it just overrides anything, overrides all the stylings of all the other classes that you added to your element. So your browser's engine parser just sees that and it's like, okay, I need to ignore all other styling and I need to hide this element. So that's how it works basically. As you see, I hit H again and it's visible. Yeah, it's visible. So, okay, I will hit H again. And here on the right part under styles, you can see it added a new, okay, yeah, here it is. Visibility, hidden, important. So if I uncheck this, it's back. And if I check this, that, right? And now I'm gonna hit H again. Okay, so it's back. So this is another cool feature of Chrome DevTools, and it lets you hide and unhide elements. So you can play around with it. You can hide and unhide any elements on your web page and see how it looks. If you want to see how would this element look like if I added it in my project, you can check that live and just using Chrome DevTools. You don't have to, comment that code out on your project, save it and see it, and then uncomment that code and then see it. It's just really as simple as hitting H on your keyboard. So that's one use of it. Next is, okay, so any questions so far? Any questions about what I covered so far? Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions.
There's some questions in the chat. If you want to
Okay.
take a look.
Yeah. So Victor asked, could there be errors by having conflicting important attributes? Yeah, I think so. If you like select particular element and you add two classes on that element, and you, for both of those classes in their CSS styling, you add important attributes to like any style. I think there will be conflict, but I think the way Chrome's browser parses it is, you will see the order in your CSS file, and the later one, the later class, and the later important attribute, it will consider that over the before one. I think that's how it works. So if you like select any HTML element, a p tag, and you add two classes to it, and to both of those classes you add text color yellow and red, and you add important to both of them. So the class 2 that you added later in the CSS file in the order, so Chrome's browser engine will take that first. So the color of the text color will be red. Yeah, the last one. Yeah, so there can be a conflict, but it depends on the order. But that's a good question. Any other questions so far? Okay, so please feel free to ask your question in the chat as I go. Yeah, I'll keep looking at chat. Okay, the next part is debugging JavaScript. That's one of the most useful features of Chrome DevTools, that you can use them to debug your JavaScript code and see where you're getting your errors. So how you see that, how you use Chrome DevTools for debugging JavaScript is, you open the DevTools and you open the console tab. And console tab is right next to the elements tab. So it's really easy to find. And there you can access all your variables and functions of your JavaScript code. So let's say I have a variable, say const number, that in my JavaScript code. So if you just go to console and type number, the Chrome and hit enter, the Chrome DevTools will automatically find that variable from your JavaScript code and display its value on the console. That's really helpful. And also function, you can, if you have a function foo that takes a number and multiplies it by 2 and returns it, you can just say in the console, foo, parenthesis, you passed in a value, let's say 2, and hit enter. It will, yeah, it will display 4 as a result. So any variable and functions are accessible to the Chrome DevTools if your JavaScript file is parsed correctly, if there are no errors. And you can even write your own functions in console. You can make your own functions to just test anything. And you will see error messages on console if your code has any. So if your code has, let's say, syntax errors, you missed a parenthesis in a function, you missed the closing parenthesis, or you missed the opening parenthesis, right? So if you, yeah, so those are the syntax errors. And they are really hard to catch. So you really need to, that's really time consuming if you have syntax errors, but the Chrome DevTools are, again, for help here. In the console, you will see a very concise error message, and it will also tell you the line number in your JavaScript file where this error is coming from. So you can just read that description, the error message, and go back to your JavaScript and fix that error. So you will see all your syntax errors as error messages on console. Also, if your JavaScript file is importing some other JavaScript file or other files that can't be accessed, that are not accessible to the Chrome's JavaScript engine to parse, it will show an error in the console. So it will also say that explicitly. It will give you a very concise description that this file failed to load, and it will also tell you the line number. So that's also really helpful to debug in the console. Next slide. Okay, so now it's time for some console hacks. I have made a list of 2 to 3 hacks that you can use in the console that will really help you make your life easy, way easy, when you debug your JavaScript code. So the first is, how do you clean error messages, right? So let's say you have a really large JavaScript code, like let's say 500 lines, and you really messed up. You really messed up a big time, right? A lot of syntax errors, a lot of you didn't call a function properly, you didn't give it, you didn't pass the right arguments. So let's say you get a lot of errors, right? So the console will be full of error messages, and error messages are in red lines, so they are easily, you can easily see them. So let's say you got a lot of error messages and you want to clean it, right? You want to do something else in the console. Let's say you want to test something else, and you want to clean those error messages. So you can simply hit Control-L to clear your console and get rid of all the error messages, and not only the error messages, like anything. It clears your whole console up. If you have anything else that you tried and tested, it just clears it all up. And for Mac users, it's Control-K. But again, this is also a very useful feature of Chrome DevTools. If you made any functions or any variables in the console before you cleaned up your console screen, the DevTools will remember that those variables will not get lost. They are still there, right? You can still access them using up and down arrow keys. So let's try it out. Let me show you guys how it works. All right. You guys see the weather app again, right?
Yep. You're good.
Right. Yeah, thank you. So here we are right now seeing the Elements tab, and the console tab is right next to Elements tab. And it's clear right now because I don't have any error in my code, thankfully. So I don't see an error message right now, but let's type out something like 2 plus 2 or 4 plus 8 or 8 by 4, right? And let's say I want to clean this up. I want a blank console. So I hit Control L and it's all gone. And it's same with error messages. All the error messages are cleaned up, right? So this is very important feature. And next slide. All right, this is one of my most useful discoveries of Chrome DevTools, honestly. So the special symbol that Chrome DevTools has, it's the $sign and the underscore sign together, no space in between. So this symbol is very useful. It's a special symbol offered by Chrome DevTools that lets you reference the last result, the result of last operation in the console. So let's say you made an array in the console and you tried some method on it, like that array.length, and you get the result of it. And now you want to do something with it. Like let's say the length is 10 and you want to do 10 times 5. So the way you reference it is using this symbol. So this symbol, whenever you use it, it will always show you the value of your last operation in the console. And yeah, so basically you don't have to type out the whole command array.length again. So if you want to like say you want to find array's length and then multiply it by 4. So the way you do it in console is you find array.length, and then without using the symbol, the way you do it is you need to type out the whole command again, and then you do array.length times 4. And using this symbol, it's really easy. You get array.length, then you use this symbol, literally $sign and underscore, and write multiplied by 4, and it will show you 40 as a result. So basically, you don't have to write the whole function again. This is just one line command, but if you're writing big functions in the console, it's really helpful. And this helps you get rid of the redundancy, right? You don't have to type out the whole function again. So let's take a look at it. All right. So this is we are back to weather app. And wait, do I have a? I actually have it. No. Okay. Never mind. So as I said, let me just show you a demo of like the array.length thing. So here, let's say I have sorry guys. Yeah. So let's say I have this string deep dot length. I get 4. Okay. And now I wanna, let's say, add 10 to it. So I say $sign and underscore, and let me just hit enter to show you guys. So it gave me 4, right? So the Chrome DevTools remembered it. So now I just use $sign underscore, and I can say anything like times 10. It'll give me 40. Now if I use the symbol again, the value of the symbol is replaced by 40. So now if I use this, it's actually 40. So now I can use again, let's say 40 plus 40. Yeah, it will give me 80. So it will, this is just a small example, but you can write out big functions in the console and use a symbol to reference the result of that function and continue your operations. All right, next console hack is copying variables. So you can copy values of JavaScript variables from console and paste them anywhere else. So it might seem like an impossible task, but it's not. In Chrome, there's a function called copy. Literally, it says copy. And it helps you copy a variable. And it's not a JavaScript function. It's not an ECMAScript function, ES6 function. It's a special functionality offered by Chrome DevTools only. Okay, Sean asked a question. If you have a statement that uses $_ more than once, do they have the same value? No. So as I showed you last time, let me show you again. Right here, let's say 2 plus 2, right? 4. Now I use this symbol. And what do you think its value is? It's, yeah, what do you think its value is right now?
It would be 4. My question was along the lines of, in the lines where you have $_ like times 10, if you have like that whole thing in parentheses times $_ would those be the same value?
Oh, that's a great question. I actually never tried using those symbols. Let's just try it right now. Let's see what it is. Is it same value? I think it has to be the same value or not. It's not a function. Okay, let me try something else. Times. Yeah. Okay, so it's basically the same value if you use it in one line.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, Sean?
Yeah. Thank
All
you.
right. Yeah, that was a great question. I mean, I never thought about it. Yeah. So that's okay. So we are talking about copy. Sorry, but great question, Sean. So okay, let me show you an example of copy. Right. Okay, I'm trying to think of an example. Copy. Okay, yeah, perfect. Oh wait, am I typing? Location. Right. This gives me. Yeah, this gives me details of my current location, my current file, and all about it. So now I can say copy location, right? Copy location, and it returns undefined, but it's fine, right? It no need to worry about. So, oh wait, go away. Okay, I opened a new tab, and now I'm just simply hitting Control V, and you can see it just pasted all the whole response I got from location here. So that's how you do it. If you have a big function that returns a big JSON object or big array, you can just say copy that and copy paste it in your own source code or your own JavaScript file. Another example is like copy local storage. You can also copy this. This is such a huge response, but we can also copy this. Right, I hit this and okay. Let me try something else. I hit Control V. I know this is a really bad way to show you guys, but it works, right? It works. I should have had a Google Doc open right now where I could show you the whole, how big is it, but it's really big, but it really works, right? So it's really helpful to copy in terms of copying big variables, big JSON objects and big arrays. And next is table object. I think some of you guys might already know about it, but I honestly didn't know about this. All right. So Chrome DevTools offers this very useful feature that lets you tabulate an array. So let's say you have a huge array of objects, and each of that object has multiple arrays. And you can imagine how how hard that is to visualize and find particular element. That's really hard to view in the console, right? And fortunately, Chrome provides a table function that lets you tabulate this whole array, and it's a really nice way of visualizing things. Okay, so let me show you guys a little example. I'm gonna create a little object here, right? Let users equal, I'm gonna create a little array of 2 objects, right? Let's say name is, oh no, wait, this is wrong. Name is Deep, age is 19, right? This is really hard to see. Oh, wait, I hit enter? No. Okay, you're not supposed to hit enter until you are done. So you just hit shift enter, right? And yeah, another object, let's say Shan. What's your age, Shan? 18 or 19?
19.
Cool. All right, let's say, okay, 2 objects is fine, right? What's there here now? Oh wait, I see it. Okay, I think now it's good. Okay, now I'm gonna use console dot. So instead of console.log, I'm gonna use console.table for arrays, user array, users. And here it is. You see a very nice tabular view of your users array. And now you can imagine if you have such a big array of all the big objects, and each object has multiple arrays, and if you wanna go even more, each of that array has objects. That's really hard to visualize. I'm using console.log. So console.table is really useful, right? So next slide. So meet the brother of the special symbol $_, and that brother is $0. So it's another magic variable offered by Chrome DevTools. And it also, not also, it lets you reference the currently selected element, the HTML element. Sorry, I should have written HTML there. So it lets you reference the currently selected HTML element in the element panel, and you can reference it, and you can use it in the console. So you go to Elements tab, open the DevTools, go to Elements tab, select any HTML element, like anything. It can be a div, it can be an image, it can be a p tag, it can be whole body tag, anything. You select it, and yeah, just keep it selected. Don't do anything. Go to Console tab and type $0 and hit enter, and you will see the whole HTML element typed out in the console. So let's try it out. Let me hit refresh. So everything is gone. Awesome. So now I'm in the Elements tab, and let's say I select the first div here. Okay, I selected it. Now I go to console, and I hit $0. You see, yeah, it returned me the HTML element that I selected in the Elements tab. So this is one way. I think this is the only way you type out an HTML element in the console, right? And you can just do anything with it. You can like use it to add an on-click function, on-click event listener, or any other event listener. So you can, yeah, you can use this special magic variable offered by Chrome DevTools to add any event listeners to any HTML element of your project. And not even like your project. I'm showing you guys one project, but it's like really like you can go to any website, go to Chrome DevTools, select any element of their DOM tree, and you can reference it using this special symbol. Another magic variable. They both are brothers, really. Next tab. Okay, let's take another break. This is so much, I know. So any questions so far? Any questions about debugging JavaScript? Any feedback about debugging JavaScript? Anything? Feel free to unmute and ask or type out in the chat.
I had one question about the table object, Deep.
Okay.
Could you
Yeah.
like go back to the slide about it?
Yeah. Here.
So I was wondering, you said that this was like an easier way to see the contents of the array, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to think what would be the use of like originally seeing the array without this function.
Without this function, you mean simply console logging it?
Yeah, because the way you put it, it just seems clear.
Right. So okay, let me can I reference it? Oh, I can reference it. So you see, I just used up arrow keys to get my users array back.
Right.
Okay, right. Here we have our users array. Let's say let me use console.log on users. It returns you something like this, and you have to open this, and there you get each object, and you open that object, and you see the key value pairs. And yeah, this is really a small example, but imagine if you had an array of 100 objects, so that here it would be like 100 objects, and you open this, and you would see 100 lines, each containing an object, and you open that object, and you will see their key value pairs. But what if the object itself has multiple arrays? Then you will also have to open them up. So it's really time consuming and not a great view to look at them.
Because I'm looking at that and like I'm trying to think of a practical use to that, and the first thing that came to mind was like a teacher needing to like look at the grades of their students, where every single student they like have an age, name, like or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
and they have like
that's it. Yeah, that's a great example. So let's say you have an array which contains like objects that represent all the students, and the object has all the like students information, like their name, their age, what class they're in, their grade of particular exam, like midterm 1, midterm 2. Yeah, so it really gets big, right? In like data structures class, we have like 500 students, so you have a big large array of 500 objects. So it really gets big. So having that tabular view, that's really nice. It's just like using Excel in console. Literally. Yeah.
Right. Cool. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for asking the question. Any other questions so far about two magic variables we covered? Feel free to unmute yourself or type out in the chat. I don't see any questions, but so I'll continue. But if you still think about any questions, please unmute yourself and ask. So now we get to network debugging, my favorite part. So now next to the console tab, there's the network tab. And you can use you can use that network tab to debug the network operations. So basically network tab shows you the metadata of your project, and it has very valuable data about network operations. So what are network operations? So they are communications between your web browser and the server providing you the web page. And we will have a look at it. And it looks very complicated, but there's no need to be overwhelmed. So, okay, let me show you guys. Okay, so here we are in the console tab, and you can see right next to it is the network tab. And here, first of all, I see this part. It says 50 milliseconds, 100 milliseconds, 150 milliseconds, 200 milliseconds. So it shows you like basically a visual presentation of the loading speeds of all the resources in your code. Resources means files, right? It's just it's basically a visual representation. The important part here is this table down here at the bottom half. Okay, let me increase it, make it larger. So here you see this table, right? And it has multiple columns. So we'll go over each column one by one. Okay. So, okay, just a minute. Just referencing my notes. So names is a column where you can view the names of all the resources of your project. So every file, you can see there's HTML file, there's CSS file, there's images, PNG, JPG images, even your JavaScript. Everything that's loaded by the Chrome's JavaScript engine is here, and it shows you name-wise. Next is the status column, and I think for Mac users, I'm not sure. Mac users might even see a methods column in between the name and status column, but I, as a Windows user, don't see it here. So what's methods column? So the method column, it will show you the, like get in every resource. So what is get? Get is the most common HTTP method. It's literally a request for data. So the method literally goes and gets the resources from a server and brings them back to your web browser, and your web browser parses it and displays it on the web page. And there are two other methods that you can see on the method column. There is post and there's delete. So what is a post method? Just like its name says, post is literally brings you new data to the server. So it says like when you register for a new user profile on, say, any website like Medium or Facebook or anything, and you hit submit, it takes that data and goes to server and says like, here server, I heard you were hungry for more users, so here I brought you one more user. So it just brings the new data to the server, and server keeps that. And delete method is another HTTP method that tells the server to delete information of particular user, for example. So there are those three methods that you can see on a Mac. I'm not sure. So then it's a status tab. It shows you finished. That means that means it successfully came to web browser from server, and the web browser successfully parsed it and displayed it. And also the status code 200, it means the same. The web browser successfully parsed it without any errors. It also successfully pulled it from the server. So that's what the 200 says. There's also another famous status code, 404. And that's really not a great status code to have. It means the Chrome web browser or any particular web browser failed to bring the information from requested information from the server, so it didn't load it. So next column is type. So it just says what type of resource this is, what type of file this is. Is it an HTML file? So as you can see in the first row, this is the index.html file. So it says the type is a document. The images, it says the JPEG image. Then the JavaScript file, it says it's a type is script. And the last row is just a font. I'm using an external font, Google Fonts. So it also requested that from the server and also successfully loaded it. So the type, it says the font. And the initiator is where basically you called it from, right? Where are all the resources? So basically they are in one main file, index.html. The next column is size column, and it tells you what's the size of each file in bytes, literally. So here, yeah, it literally in bytes. So it says the first index.html file size is 4.5 kilobytes and 62 kilobytes, 96 kilobytes. And if you see the third to last, the style sheet, the CSS file is really the smallest in terms of size. It's just 884 bytes. So it tells you the size of all the resources that your project has. Next column is times column. Here you can check how much time it took for the information to come from the server and load it on the screen. And it's in the milliseconds. So you can see each resource has its own time to load. And after everything is loaded, yeah, you see it on the screen. And if it's something fails to load, you don't see it. And so as you can see, the images, right? All the images, their loading time is more than the styles, the HTML file. So it's nice to have compressed images if you have like especially a lot of images in your project, or even if you're using videos. That's just their size is big. You know, in the size column, you can see all these images. Their size is pretty big compared to the index.html, style.css, the font that I'm using. Their size is really very big, like 60 kilobytes, 160 kilobytes. So more, the bigger the size of your resource, more time it takes to load. So it's just a good practice to use compressed images if you are using a lot of images in your project. And the waterfall is just shows the order in which the resource is loaded. And yeah, it's just a visual representation of the loading speed and in the loading speed of each resource and the time it took, and in the order we loaded. So that's all but that tells you a lot about your project. It tells what are all the resources you are using. It tells you did they successfully load or not. It tells you their sizes. It tells you the loading speed of each resource. So this is really helpful, the network tab. So it's really helpful to learn everything the network tab has to offer.
Hey, Deep.
Yeah.
I had a quick question. When you were talking about the methods column, do you know why only Mac get to see the methods and stuff?
I'm not sure why Chrome doesn't show it. I think you can, maybe it's something in the settings you can see it. I haven't really tried it, but I read an article in which it said that there's also a method column you can see in the network tab. Maybe it is in the Chrome Dev tools, but you need to change the settings. But it is in the Safari, I think. So Mac users.
Okay, cool. Just wondering.
Yeah, good question though. All right, next slide. This is tab. So I mentioned that there are 9 tabs in the Chrome DevTools, but I'm only covering the first 3 because one, they are the ones that you will be using the most. And I'm not saying the remaining 6 are not good to learn. They're also super useful, but these are the ones that you'll probably be using more than the remaining 6. And second, it's just not possible to cover all of them in 1 hour. So yeah, I'll be just covering these 3 tabs, and now it's time for some bonus hacks. I know we are running a bit late, so I'll just quickly go over it, right? One is, how do you capture powerful screenshots on Chrome? So I didn't know about it. So before I learned about this, the way I used to capture screenshot is go to Firefox. And I know Firefox has this very useful feature like, I think it's capture the screenshot, right? So I just used to copy paste the link, open it in the Firefox and use that to capture any image screenshot. But actually Chrome also offers, allows you to capture screenshot, and it's really, it's really powerful. So before we learn that to use, we need to learn about another cool feature of Chrome DevTools, which is menu. So if you hit open DevTools and hit Control-Shift-P, it will open up command menu, and you can search so many powerful commands that Chrome DevTools has in that command panel. And yeah, all the powerful commands, they respond to various powerful functions offered by Chrome DevTools. So the way you capture screenshot is you open command menu, you hit Control-Shift-P, you open up command menu, and you type in this line, screenshot capture full size screenshot. You don't even need to type out whole thing. Once you type screenshot, it will just show you the screenshot commands available in the command menu. I think there are like 4 commands, and one of them is capture full size screenshot. And it literally, the name says that it will literally capture the screenshot of the whole of web page. It's not just the part, the part that's visually available to you on your laptop. Let's say like you're reading a Medium article and it's a really big article. So it will capture the screenshot of the whole Medium article, the whole long article. It's just not the part which you are reading on the screen right now. It will capture screenshot of whole Medium article. So yeah, and the image is also very clear, no doubt about that. And you can also get the screenshot of a particular DOM element. So the way you do it is go to Elements tab, select a particular HTML element, and then you hit Control-Shift-P, opens up a command menu. And again, you type screenshot, capture node screenshot, and you don't even need to type this whole command. It will autofill, the Chrome DevTools will autofill that for you. So capture node screenshot. So it literally captures a screenshot of the HTML element that you selected in the Elements tab. So let's say I want a screenshot of an image, right? So I can right click on that image and I can click on inspect element. So it will open up the DevTools automatically, and it will automatically select that particular image tag from the DOM tree. And then I just need to hit Control-Shift-P and hit type out this command. So it will just capture a screenshot of that image for me. And there are also many other powerful commands in Chrome DevTools. And the last but not least is copy image as a data URL. So there are 2 ways to get the image from a website or a web page or even your personal project. So the way you copy image as a data URL is you go to the Networks tab and you will see an option named image. And there under that option, you will see all the images that your project is using or that particular web page is using. And then you can click particular image and you can go to previews. And then if you, okay, wait, let me just show you. So we are in the Networks tab, right? Here I see images, right here in the sign. I click on images and I see all the images that I'm using. I click on an image, not this. Okay, this one. This looks good. So by default I would be in the headers, right? But I need to select preview here, and I right click on it and I say copy image as data URL, right? Okay, I clicked on that. I open a new tab. I paste it, and I see that image here. So that's also one of the most useful functions that Chrome DevTools offer. And that's it basically. Any questions so far about what I covered today? Feel free to unmute yourself and ask me any questions. All the questions so far you guys asked are really great. And otherwise, have a great weekend. And thank you so much for coming to my hacker hour. I hope you guys learned something. And Chrome DevTools is much broad than what I covered today. You can learn a lot of stuff. Okay, yeah, I missed the slide. So these are some good resources to learn more about Chrome DevTools. There's a YouTube playlist by Google Chrome Developers YouTube channel. There are very useful articles on Medium and a lot of other sites. Also, Google has a great documentation if you love reading documentations, and especially Google's documentations are the best. So here are some good resources. So I just gave you guys like a high-level introduction into Chrome DevTools, but I really encourage you guys to learn and experiment on your own and try something out. That's the best way you can learn. That's the way I learned. So any questions, guys, so far?